Welcome to TMZ Live. Harvey Levin here.
Alex Michelson here, filling in for Charles.
So, this is as Joe Biden would say, big blanking deal. The defense in the Diddy case has said that when they take the case over from prosecutors, which should happen in the next couple days, they will need 1 or 2 days, and that's it. Now, that is, in lawyer code, that means a lot.
Does that mean what? That you think you're winning your case, or what does that mean?
It's not even so much, see, that's an interesting way of putting it. It's not that they're winning the case, it's that maybe they think the prosecution is losing the case. Because it is, remember,
the burden's on the prosecution.
Prosecution has to win. The defense doesn't have to win. The defense needs to create reasonable doubt.
And if they keep talking, maybe that's not good for them?
Well, it may be that what they think is this, that, look, here's the case. They are saying that Diddy is engaged in a criminal enterprise, that his Bad Boy Records is a subterfuge for all the criminal activity that he was coordinating. This is typically called organized crime. The defense is saying, yeah, it's crime, but it's disorganized crime. It's just Diddy using his power in this kind of shotgun approach. So that's what their argument is on racketeering. On the other issues, on sex trafficking, at least as it relates to Cassie and Jane, what they're saying is that there was consent, that it was not force or consent. And that if they believe, and I don't know that they can prove this to the jury, and we don't know how the jury feels, but if they believe that the prosecution hasn't met its burden, that's when the defense cuts down its case. Because initially they thought it was going to be 2 weeks. Now it seems max 2 days.
Which means by this time next week, we could potentially have a verdict.
Theoretically.
Yeah, we could get a verdict, and I think this is very telling to your point about the defense's strategies as they've seen this come out. What they've done is poke holes in the prosecution's case along the way through their cross-examination of these witnesses, and they believe that's enough to say prosecution hasn't met their burden. They could have taken the strategy of putting on their own witnesses to rehabilitate Diddy's image, to have people who said they had great working experiences at Bad Boy. They never saw anything untoward. But instead of doing that, they are telegraphing that the prosecution simply hasn't met their burden. We don't have to do much. We're going to sit back, and the jury should have seen what we've seen. And I think it's pretty telling that they think the prosecution fell this short. I think maybe they're right, except on the Mann Act case, which I think they've sort of given up on.
That's the problem, is that with the Mann Act, it just, all you have to prove is that you have paid somebody, a sex worker, to cross state lines for the purpose of prostitution. And that's a hard one for them to argue didn't happen.
I mean, don't they basically have documented proof of that?
And that carries a big prison sentence. But still, the other two.
The prosecution put on Brendan Paul, who was a personal assistant.
Well, we should say, Jamie, this is the guy. We saw pictures of him at the airport the day of the raid of Diddy's homes. He is there, and the feds arrested him because they say he was the drug mule who did all sorts of things, and he got immunity to testify.
But he said today he wasn't the drug mule.
Right, and he said that, when he set up the rooms for the freak-offs, he saw Jane prior to going into the freak-off room.
And after.
And after, yeah. And, she never looked distressed. I mean, he sounded almost like a defense witness. I don't know why the prosecution thought this was a good witness to put on for their case.
I'm confused by that because what did he, so he set up a hotel room, and even if he got Diddy drugs?
Between 5 to 10 times he testified he got drugs for Diddy's.
Okay.
For example,
where does that take you?
He said that was a minor part of his duties for 18 months working as one of his assistants. And all the other assistants who testified said they picked up drugs for him for freak-offs too.
Yeah, I don't know that you guys, this is all that helpful, though. The prosecution clearly wanted him as part of their RICO case, right? I mean, he's running a criminal enterprise where he has lots of assistants who are... The RICO case is he's using his employees to procure drugs, to set up illegal freak-offs. Don't forget that the transportation of the male prostitute to a freak-off over state lines is a crime. And if you're helping him set that up, or you're aiding and abetting in setting that up,
so let me ask you
part of the
something.
RICO case.
So let me ask you something. How many hundreds of thousands of people in Los Angeles would be prosecuted if they got somebody who is a drug dealer to supply them with drugs?
Not many, but many are not the president of Bad Boy Records, who had a coterie of employees helping him to run a criminal enterprise, according to the prosecution.
What's the enterprise?
This is not just an individual person.
What's the enterprise, Derek? What's the enterprise?
The enterprise is, according to the prosecution, he was setting up elaborate sort of sexual escapades through his company employees.
Sexual escapades.
Sexual
escapades are not illegal.
Right. But that's bedroom policing, basically.
Bedroom policing. These are
on a federal level. You know, that's all.
Bedroom policing is if he were gay and we were trying to out him. It is not bedroom policing to say that he brought in male escorts over state lines, which is a crime, whether you guys like it or not.
The Mann Act. The Mann Act. You're right, but Derek,
okay, that's a crime.
Derek, if these were not sex workers, if it was just Diddy finding some dude to watch that dude have sex with one of his girlfriends, would that be bedroom police?
You're getting closer to bedroom police, but I think you're having to sort of ignore all that's happened in this case. That is not just pure bedroom policing. It is a man who's running a criminal operation. I think the prosecution has made more of their case than you're giving them credit for. And I think that might be an indication why the defense doesn't want to belabor this too much.
They are not going to lay down and die. Come on, Derek, you know that.
A lot of their cases are just talking about Astroglide lube and baby oil and period blood on walls in hotels. And like you were saying earlier, the defense, they can just let the prosecution shoot themselves in the foot and just do 2 days and rest.
Well, you know, it felt like I was about to pay tuition for law school here for a second, but thank you for bringing us back with the Astroglide and lube to what TMZ is really about, what people really want to hear about. So thank you for bringing us back home.
Hi, I'm Ivy from Atlanta. People have made a lot of jokes about the lube and Astroglide found in his home, but the revelation of military-grade weapons in the same place where his children sleep, this is what speaks to the enterprise, the criminal enterprise that the prosecution has made their case around. I'm on the edge of my seat. I feel like this case could go either way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, look, even I have serious questions about racketeering. I don't about the Mann Act. And on the other, I don't know how the jury's going to go, whether they're going to find forced coercion or not.
When you guys did your documentary with the mock jury, the jury split on some of the accounts, and it seems like that could be where we end up.
We'll see. I mean,
not a clean sweep, but maybe some of them and not others.
But there could be a verdict, like you said, theoretically, as early as next week.
Next week.
We will see. Okay, we're moving on.